The number one thing that you should never ever cheap out on is safety. Safety is so important, especially if you live alone or if you live with a small family or even if you have a large family. You just want to be able to keep yourself safe and your family safe. With that being said, the best route to go is to pay decent money for decent cameras, windows, doors. There are cheap locks, but the best thing to do is to go with the more expensive lock that has maybe a lifetime warranty or that has the best reviews when it comes to people trying to break in or cause you any harm. So I remember growing up and we didn't have the best locks. Like those chain locks that go on the door, the lock that we have here that's on the door, those things do absolutely nothing. I just think they are a huge waste of money. I think they're like $20, but they are very, very easy to break and they're just not safe. We personally will never add those kind of locks to our future home because we know that they don't do anything. Yeah, they add a little bit of extra safety there, but if someone was to really force open the door, they could get through no matter what with those little chain locks. It's just pointless. Even though they are cheap and a lot of people have them, doesn't necessarily mean that they're the best thing to have in your house to keep you safe. Recently, my boyfriend switched over his locks to a smart lock that has a double bolt, so that way no one is able to break in at all. And it also has an emergency slot where you can put the key in, which he is the only one that has a key. The people that live there have a code to get in, but those locks are very heavy duty, so it is pricey, but that's something that he wanted to add to the property because there have been a little bit of shady things going on in the property. Not only did he add a bunch of new updated locks, he also added cameras, security cameras outside, like outside the porch, the backyard, and the side part. So there's cameras all around the building. That way we know who's coming in out of the yard, who's going in and out of the building. Just in case any emergency, it's good to have that on camera. That way, if something was to happen, you can use it in court or you can just know right away what's going on because it is a live feed. So like I said, this was very pricey for him to do, but it was necessary because there were certain things going on with that property. We would show up and some of the barrels, the garbage barrels were missing. Tenants were complaining that their packages were being stolen and numerous complaints about certain things that were going on in the area. So it's nice to have a live feed and he can keep a lookout on his property without actually being there. So it's a great thing to have for safety. My sisters, I already told them about his property having all those cameras and they are going to order the same thing because they also have kids and they just think it's time to get cameras and a different lock on their door because you never know. Especially when it comes to us women, we have to be more careful than men, which sucks, but it's the world we live in. So the best way that we can be careful is to spend a decent amount of money on the best security out there. Trust me, you will not regret this purchase at all. Next thing that you shouldn't cheap out on is a computer chair. I complained all the time with the amount of computer chairs that I had throughout my 20s. My lower back hated me for it. So I always went the cheap way out because, always on a budget, and I thought that the cheaper way was the best way, and that's not always the case. So I used to think that the computer chairs that were $200 to $300 or more were a ripoff because technically it's just a chair, but it's not. Those chairs are expensive for a reason. And if you were to add up all the money I did spend on the chairs that I did have, it kind of added up to a decent chair. So sometimes going the cheap route will cost you more than the expensive route. So never cheap out on a computer chair, especially if you work from home like myself. It is crucial. My boyfriend has had his computer chair for, I think, 5.5 years, and he spent a little over $400 on it. And I use that chair to, I'll go to his desk and use his little office area to edit videos because it's so expensive. So he did the right thing, and of course we live and we learn. So in the future I will definitely get a decent computer chair because now I know it is worth it. I never had this amount of back pain when it came to like sitting on cheap chairs, because when you're younger you don't notice that, but when you start to get older, sitting on cheap chairs, it sucks. It feels like a bunch of books are on your lower back, or like you have a heavy backpack on. So it's best to find something that's going to last you and that's also going to be very comfortable and good for your back, because who wants to work 5 to 8 hours a day on a crappy chair that's going to make your lower back burn? Been there, done that, and I have learned a valuable lesson with cheaping out on computer chairs. Speaking of computer chairs, the next thing that goes hand in hand with it is cheaping out on an office desk. You guys have seen me go through, I think it was 2 desks on camera. I've been on YouTube for 5.5 years, so you guys seen the giant white desk I had at my first apartment, and then I switched over to a smaller bamboo desk. Both of those desks were okay, but they are not for someone that works more than 8 hours a day, and that's usually me. When it comes to editing these videos, even though I don't do crazy editing, it takes me a little bit longer to edit and make sure everything is perfect. So I was usually on my desk for more than 8 hours a day when it came to editing 1 to 2 videos. I will say the worst desk I have ever purchased was the bamboo one from IKEA. It was around $55. I thought I was getting a huge deal. It had 2 drawers, and it is a good deal if you're going to use it just to get ready. If you're going to use it for like a little vanity, then sure, why not? It's, you know, a great deal for just to, you know, use it for 1 hour or less. But when it comes to being your permanent work desk, which it was my permanent desk for 2 years, because I purchased it in 2020 and I got rid of it in 2022. So that desk did serve its purpose, but I was running away from it towards the end. I was running out of room. I had my laptop here, had a notebook here, my little microphone when I do my voiceovers, so I didn't have enough room. And also, I didn't want to sit down all day. Like I said, the computer chair sucked. For me, the best thing that would work for me is a stand-up desk, an ergonomic desk. Obviously, those are very pricey, so in the future, I would definitely be looking into those. But if I would have just looked into that desk first before purchasing all the other desks, then if I would have known the information that I know now with, you know, how good the ergonomic desks are for you, especially for someone that works longer hours, it's best to stand up every now and then when working. I can even add my little treadmill under the desk and walk while editing. The stand-up desks are very expensive. They can range from $400 to $1,000. It depends what brand you go with and what functions you want out of that desk. But of course, I will keep you guys posted. I just wanted to let you know that cheaping out on a desk and a chair, those go hand in hand. So you need a decent workspace if you work from home. It's okay to work with what you have for now, but do not make it permanent because you will regret it in the long run. So it's best to spend a decent amount of money on a decent work area where you're not dreading to go to every day. Another thing that you should never ever cheap out on is tattoos. I'm going to be 100% honest with you guys. I am 31 years old. I got my tattoos, so I got this one when I was 21, and I got my leg tattoo when I was 16. My mom was so proud when I wanted that tattoo. My mom has a bunch of tattoos. She is tatted up, and you know, that's just what she likes. And of course, back then, that's what I liked. And now that I'm in my 30s, I wish that these were gone, or I wish I would have went to a professional place to get them done. I went to her friend's, which was underground, you know, in their basement. I paid $20. No, I think this one was $30. This one was $30, and the butterfly was like $20. Very cheap, and they look cheap. Like the music notes, if I can go closer, you guys can probably see. The music notes are not aligned. This one's missing some ink. They look very, very silly, if I may say so myself. They also are faded. I mean, it's been 10 years, but if I would have just spent the money at a regular tattoo place back then, I don't think these would look half as bad. My sisters, on the other hand, they are completely tatted up as well, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like I said, I used to love tattoos. I like tattoos on other people. I just don't like them on me anymore. But my sisters have a lot of tattoos, and they went to professional people in their 20s. So I went the cheap route and they went the expensive route, and their tattoos look like pure art. It looks amazing on all, every tattoo they have, it looks amazing. I learned a valuable lesson that never ever cheap out on tattoos, especially because you never know like if those needles are clean. And I should have been a lot smarter back then. Like I said, we live and we learn, and I'm glad nothing happened, no infections. I have known people in the past to go to get their tattoos done, underground like I did, in random basements, and they had a huge infection due to dirty needles, or worse, they caught something. So it's best to go the professional route when it comes to tattoos. Never ever go by, oh, well, I know a guy that knows a guy that can do it cheap. If you cannot afford a professional tattoo artist at a professional place, you really want a tattoo that bad, save your money and wait. Okay, this is your sign to wait and save your money. Like I said, I will never ever get a tattoo ever again in my life. I wish I could remove all of these. Well, I only have music notes and 3 butterflies on my little ankle. I wish I could remove them. But I'm also a chicken of pain, and removing them is very expensive. So I am stuck with them for now. But I just wanted to let you guys know that cheaping out on tattoos is just as bad as cheaping out on safety, like I mentioned in the beginning. Because if you cheap out on tattoos, your safety is kind of in the middle, like your health. You never know if those needles are dirty. So it's best to just save your money and go to a professional artist at a professional tattoo place. And also look at the reviews, you guys. Do not skip over Google reviews. Reviews help you kind of get an inside scoop on how the place is. So do that research as well. It's good to look at reviews. And the last thing to never cheap out on is low quality shoes. I have a confession to make. I am not perfect, and you guys know and you have seen me go through a decent amount of shoes on my channel. My size is an 8 wide. Where it gets wide is near my like toe area. It has been really, really hard for me to find shoes that don't make my feet feel like they're getting squished, like, throughout the day, or like that they're bleeding, or ingrown toenails. Like when my feet feel really, really squished in shoes, it feels like I have ingrown toenails on my big toes, which I used to have ingrown toenails all the time back in the day. So I'm very familiar with that pain. The confession I wanted to make is the flats. I purchased 2 pairs of flats off of Amazon, and they were $20 each. I thought I was getting the best deal ever. I still have them. I'm hoping that they stretch out, but if they don't, I will pass them on to somebody else, because when I wear those shoes, they hurt so bad. If I wear them, I want to say past the 3-hour mark, that squish feeling, the ingrown toenail feeling starts to kick in, and I cannot wait to take them off. And I feel silly talking about this, but I also feel like I should be honest with you guys. I have mentioned those shoes in, my shoe collection, my minimalist shoe collection. I love flats. I would love to replace them with higher quality flats that fit my feet correctly. Even though those are technically my size, they're size 8. It's hard to find size 8 wide in any type of shoe, but I tried an 8.5 with those, and I had to send them back because they were too big. So an 8 wide is completely different than an 8.5. And it usually doesn't work for me. But with those flats, I'm still trying, and if I do end up getting rid of them, I will save my money and look for a company that actually specializes in wide feet. So if you guys know any companies that have decent flats when it comes to like wide feet, let me know down below. But I wanted to give you my little story that going cheap with shoes is never the answer. I should have just waited until I had the money to purchase a decent pair of flats that I can wear comfortably. So I have learned my lesson with sneakers. I just didn't think I had to relearn the lesson with other pairs of shoes. So let me know down below how many pairs of shoes you own, and how many shoes within your collection that you can only wear for 2 to 3 hours, where it's very painful. And let me know down below if you are going to replace them or get rid of them, because I do feel guilty because I hate wasting clothes and shoes. But sometimes it's best to let that item go and wait to purchase something a little bit better for your feet. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know down below if you would like a part 2, and I will catch you in the next one.